Good morning, welcome back to Little Hollow Homestead. Today we're down here in the hollow. We're going to start processing our Cornish cross meat chickens. As you can tell, I'm a small time operation. I just raise chickens for my own family, for my own use. In order to sell processed chickens at my farmer's market, it has to be processed in a USDA inspected facility, which I'm obviously not. So I just do this just for my own family's needs for our own chicken. So I'll take you on a tour of the setup and show you how I do it, and we'll get going. It's the middle of May right now, and I think it may rain or it may snow or it may be hot. We don't know yet, but cross your fingers that the rain holds off. I'm just going to process a few. In the past, I've processed the entire thing, and by the end of it, I'm just over it. I don't want anything more to do with it. So this year, I'm going to leave everything set up down here. I'm going to process a few until I've had enough, want a break, whatever, and then I'll shut down and I'll do some more tomorrow and do some more the next day. It also allows the hen Cornish cross chickens to get a little bigger if you wait a little bit longer than the 7.5, 8 weeks that I do for my roosters, my rooster Cornish cross. So that's what I'll be doing today, is just some of the roosters. Maybe all, maybe some, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'll take you on a tour. The first thing you're going to need is some Cornish cross chickens that have been raised up. These are about 7.5 weeks old, which is about right for me. Another thing that's helpful is a trusty assistant. I've got that covered. We'll get those collars off that trying to control her barking. And as I'm walking back up, I pulled the feed off these Cornish cross broilers yesterday afternoon. You want to do that so that the digestive system will be completely empty and it's just a lot less messy. The next thing in the process that you will need is a kill cone. This makes it a lot nicer, a lot easier than the old lop the head off with a hatchet kind of thing, which was unpleasant. You put them upside down in this. I like to leave them upside down for a few minutes. It calms them down. I think kind of sedates them a little bit. Anyway, and then you'll just cut the veins in their neck and let them bleed out right there. Next thing in the process is we'll have a pot of water. It will be about 145 to 150, where we scald the birds. Then we bring them over to the defeathering station, which is my little invention here. I put a drill right there. This spins around and it works kind of like a wood lathe. And instead of taking wood off of whatever you're working on, this takes feathers off of whatever you're working on. And does a pretty good job of defeathering the chickens. Then down on the end of the table, I will clean them out, get all the guts out, wash them up, and then we bring them over. I don't have my little shovel set up, but I put this shovel in the ground and I'll put a plastic bag over the top of that, and that's where I'll put the birds to dry. Then in my trusty shed here, I've got my bags that we're going to use. Show you that. In here I have my poultry shrink bags. So once they've dried, I'll put a bag over the top of them. Then I will close it with a zip tie, getting all air out that I can, but leaving enough to let air escape as I put them in this pot, which will have water that's about 175, I believe. And that will help shrink that plastic around the chicken. Another thing that's absolutely important for a humane dispatch of your chickens, if I can get it open, is a good sharp knife. This knife is razor sharp, and that does a really good job. And then from there, we'll have a cooler here with some ice in it. As soon as the birds are bagged, We'll put them in the ice to cool them down just as quickly as possible. The nice thing about our flood this spring is we've got a nice little channel here that all the water will run down. So we won't be standing in a puddle like we've done in previous years, and the water will find a place to go. Okay, next up, I need to run down to the store and grab some ice, and we'll get the cooler down here, and we'll get all set up, get the water heated up, and we'll start the process. One of the most important things to get going on the day is to let the fluffy butt crew out. On girls. And we've got one hen in here that is broody. Aren't you? Miss, oh, you violent little sucker. No eggs. Anyway, Miss Broody Buff. You'll notice this chicken, if you've been paying attention, is new. This is my grandson's chicken named Leo. Leo the chicken. And she was being mean to my son and grandson's new chickens, so she's in timeout over at Grandpa's for a while. We'll see how she does. She's adapted pretty well. Okay, so we'll get the camp chef fired up here and get this water to the right temperature. And we'll go down and start the process until I've had enough, and then we'll stop the process. And I do have to go to work at some point today. So we'll do as much as we feel comfortable doing today and save the rest for another day. So the reason I'm doing this by myself is my wife is not a country girl, and that's putting it lightly. She does not like participating in this process. I don't enjoy the killing of the chickens, but I understand their purpose, and I understand that someone is going to have to kill and process the meat you eat, whether it's you or someone else, unless you choose to be vegetarian. So I like meat, and I like to know where it comes from. I like to know what goes in them. I like to know how they've lived, and so this is my motivation for raising my meat birds. And I also raise pork the same way. Just peace of mind and a great sense of satisfaction knowing that you've taken care of yourself. So here we go. Hope Leo the chicken doesn't get confused with the Cornish cross. My little grandson would not be happy. Okay, we got our water temperature almost to 150, so now it's time to scald the bird. Just want to shake it around a lot. I can't count in my head and talk at the same time. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, I think we're there. Okay, and we take them to the next step. Okay, so once your chickens got all the feathers off, you've taken the guts out, I'll let you take a minute here and just fine tune it. Get any little feather that might still be stuck off. Have you ever gone to a chicken restaurant and taken a bite out of a piece of chicken and found a feather in it? I'm a country boy, but that grosses me out. So when I butcher my own chickens, I don't like these little feathers. I'd rather take an extra 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it takes, and get this thing completely defeathered. So that's what we'll do. We'll finish defeathering this guy here, and then we will let him dry good, and then we'll show you the shrink wrap or the shrink bag process here in a minute. You guys paying attention down there? All right, you behave. It's a warning for you. No, I'm just kidding. You just keep giving me eggs. We'll be cool. So anyway, I think that's a pretty good looking chicken. I don't know, 4.5, maybe maybe 4.5, 4 pounds, somewhere in there, which is just right. I don't like to raise them too long. I find that the breast meat especially gets really tough and stringy, because I don't confine my chickens. They are free to roam, and that's part of the problem. If I let them go too long, they use these muscles so they get stringier and tougher. So that's why I butcher mine just a little bit early. I'd rather have them have a little better quality life and live a little less than grow them out all the way and have the meat be tough. And I'm certainly not going to put them in a little 1x1 box and raise them like that, because that defeats the whole purpose of why I do this. So okay, we're going to let him dry, and we'll get a Texas poultry shrink bag on him in just a minute. Go grab the next chicken in line and get him dispatched. My family makes fun of me, but when I go down to the pen and I get a chicken, I'll cover its eyes and I'll talk to it the whole way up. It does nothing for the chicken. It just helps me deal with the process of this. So once I've got them upside down in the kill cone, I like to give them a minute. It calms them down. Plus I think it's kind of a natural, I don't know, melatonin or something's released, because they really get calm and really quiet. And then we try to make the process as quick as we can make it, and respectful as possible. Okay, now this one is completely featherless and it's nice and dry. You can see how tacky that skin is. That is ready for a poultry bag. Oh, that's a huge one. I think I may have bought these for turkeys last year. We'll get in the other bag here. That's better. One final check. Looks pretty clean to me. All right. Okay, now we've got everything taken care of. We can bag it up until it's dry enough, because these bags don't slide right over. You really got to finesse them. And I like to get them in there just as tight as I can possibly get them. And then take, squeeze out air. You have a zip tie. There again, not too tight, because this next step, you want that air to be able to escape. And you can feel that bag just shrink around that chicken. And then, see how tight that is? How snug? That's what you want. Now, I give it one more good squeeze just to get any more air out of it. Cinch that down. And there you go. There's a packaged chicken ready for the freezer. Next step, you want to cool them down as quick as possible. And that's where the ice bath comes in. Get them cooled down, leave them in there until I've got it full, and then I'll transport them back up to the freezer and tuck them away. So I forgot to show you my little defeathering hack. So before I actually bag them, take a nice clean rag, wipe them down. This really helps get those little feathers that you may have missed off the bird, and also helps them dry a little quicker as well. So it'll be ready for bagging. There you go. There's my little pro tip of the day. Didn't show you in that first bird, so I thought I better show you in this one. There you go. Well, I discovered that about 5 is about good enough for one day for one guy. So I've got 5 in the cooler here. Get everything cleaned up. Got the pot all clean. Got the table cleaned off. The chicken plucker 3000's all nice and clean. And we've got 5 birds on ice. Okay, the very last step is I put these stickers on them and I'll write the date on them. I don't really care how much they weigh. I can't sell them, so who cares about the cost. But this will identify this year's chicken opposed to the leftover chickens from last year, so we can keep our product rotated. So there you go. We're gonna go tuck these in the freezer. That's 5 down, 20 more to go. We'll head down there and we'll get the feedback to the chickens so they can continue to grow. Get them some fresh water and let them go for a few more days. So as always, thanks for stopping by Little Hollow Homestead. Today we're down here in the hollow processing meat chickens, providing meat for our family. Very worthwhile and enjoyable, but 5 at a time is good enough for one man, I think. So we'll fight another day. As always, appreciate the subscriptions and the thumbs up. Always appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day.